Welcome back to the One Soccer Nation podcast. I'm your host, Kareem Rae. Today's guest is Wendy Damonte, co-founder and CEO of Reno Pro Soccer. Wendy is leading one of the most ambitious USL championship projects in the country, a nearly $350 million mixed-use development anchored by soccer in the heart of Reno. Her path to ownership spans broadcast journalism, healthcare leadership, and philanthropy, excuse my pronunciation there, which gives her a very different lens on how clubs should be built. This is a conversation for investors, operators, and city leaders who care about infrastructure, capital discipline, and building clubs that truly belong to their communities. Wendy, thank you so much for taking the time. How are you doing?
No, Kareem, thank you so much. I am so honored to be on your podcast. I listen to it all the time. So to be one of your featured guests is truly an honor for me and Reno Pro Soccer. So thank you.
Thank you. Just want to share the quick story of how we got connected. Was back last year, 2025 in summertime, good time, July, at the USL Expansion Summit in Spokane, Washington, which was a great opportunity to experience another club in the USL ecosystem. But yeah, that's where we connected. And it's excited. I didn't know you were leading this project, so I was excited to meet you actually first without even knowing that. And then later on, learning more and seeing that on LinkedIn and then reaching out to you and inviting you on to come on the podcast. So super excited for you and congratulations to you for leading this project.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. That was so fun up in Spokane. We had a great time with USL, all the owners, the Harnatos that hosted us that weekend. It was really great. I certainly hope I see you this July in Boise, Idaho. That should be another really good conference and time together.
Hopefully. With saying that, my favorite question to ask is, how did you get involved in the beautiful game?
That is a fantastic question. Most people think of me with swimming because I was a collegiate swimmer. So I talk a lot about that. Actually, like most people on the planet, really, soccer was my first sport. It's just such an easy entree into becoming an athlete. And so I played soccer, and then my daughter actually became really competitive in soccer. So we traveled the entire West Coast, from probably 7th grade up to her senior year. And so got to know the game more, from the technical arena, just watching it, understanding it more. But really, I just always wanted to come back to sports. I love sports. It's a part of my foundation, my upbringing. And so when I had this opportunity to become an owner of a professional sports team, I thought, hey, let's try this road and see where it leads. And it's led to an incredible place.
Amazing. I mean, you're a soccer person just like myself. Just to know, were you an attacker or a defender when you used to play?
I was the goalie.
The goalie. Okay. Nice.
I was the goalie. I guess I wasn't fast enough.
Very nice. So you were blocking all the goals from coming in.
That's right. I was tall for my age growing up. Now I'm only 5'8", which I guess is kind of tall, but I was really tall as a youngster. And so they stuck me in the goal and I defended those shots.
Nice. And what about your daughter? Is she playing goalie too, or is she on the field?
No, she was a defender. Yep. She was a defender. She's mean and tough. Man, she didn't let too many balls get past her. So It was crazy because, she was during that time, like so many of our kids, she was a junior, senior during COVID. And so she was being recruited to play in D1, and then COVID hit, and then they let all those seniors in college stay another year. And so she ended up going off to a fantastic college, but not playing soccer.
Very nice. I mean, so both positions are more so defensive roles. So that's really in the DNA per se, the defensive role. Very nice. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Diving in, you've described professional soccer from the last time we spoke as a third place in people's lives after home and work. Why was that idea so central to bringing professional soccer back to Reno?
Honestly, it truly is central in our vision for what we're doing. Back in my younger days, there was a show called Cheers. I don't know if you have ever heard of Cheers, but, when the guy walked into the bar, everyone went, Norm! And it was his third place. And Cheers, the bar was everyone's third place. Everyone belonged. Everybody wanted to be there. You walked in, you knew people, you knew the bartender, you felt like it was your place. And in reality, it was is the third place because it is, Kareem, like you said, you have your home and your family, then you have your work, and everybody wants a third place to be. And so what we're building here in the heart of Reno is the third place for our community. It's going to be built for the community. We already have the community input of what they want it to be like, and I think that's a really important place to have for your family, for your kids, for your friends. Is just a place to belong. And I think, post COVID, people are looking for that. And so we're building something that I think is going to be incredibly special in the Reno community. And I think, hopefully even tourists feel like it can be their third place, but it's going to be pretty special.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm looking forward to following this project and to see
Thanks.
this project come to life and soon speaking this into existence, watch a game with you at your stadium. So super excited for
Oh,
that.
you are welcome in the owner's box anytime you want.
Thank you. Um, you know, I I spend a lot of time at home working remote, right? Like on the computer. I don't get enough daylight. Well, I didn't grow up watching a lot of games or going to a lot of games, but I played a lot of soccer. So even nowadays, it's still nice to just get out and go out for a walk. But to have a community asset where, as you mentioned, you have individuals getting together to go watch a game is very nice to do. Something on the weekend. It's enjoyable. People love to do it, and to bring it closer to people, that gives them access to be able to do that.
That's exactly right, and our location is so central to our community. The people who live in South Reno can easily get there. The people that live in our neighboring Sparks can easily get to. West Reno, we're right next to the airport. But to your point, Kareem, I just think I think sports are so important in people's lives. I think it's vitally important for kids to have access to sports, to get out there, to be healthy, to run around, to burn off good energy, to feel good about themselves, to get those endorphins flowing. I just have always been a strong believer in sports. That's 100% why I'm doing this, because I wanted to bring something to my community, and it had to be healthy. It had to be, good for the entire person, their spiritual desires, their, health desires. And so soccer obviously is one of the best sports to bring to your community. A, because it's accessible to owners. The NFL right now isn't accessible to very many people if you could even buy a franchise. So soccer is accessible on that level, but it's a community sport. And I really am excited for my local community to finally have a team to rally around. I just think it's so good for people on so many different levels.
Yeah, 100%. And from a player perspective too, it gives the players a pathway to pro, right? Something to look up to. Okay, I don't need to go outside my backyard to pursue professional soccer. I could go pro in my hometown. And then as well as at the front office space for individuals that want to still be a part of soccer, not on the field, but off the field, those job opportunities are being created through what you guys are building. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
amazing.
right. That's exactly right. I mean, we saw it in Boise. They had an MLS player from Boise who came over to USL up there because he wanted to play in front of his hometown. So we're so excited to be able to offer that to our local kids who now can, come to games, come to a local professional game, which isn't very easy in Reno at the moment. So now they'll be able to go right down in the heart of Reno, go to a soccer game. If they're good enough, they go to college and then they come back and play with us. I mean, the thought of that, it literally like just brings chills to me because I think that that is such an incredible opportunity for all local kids. For the USL is now in so many communities across the United States. So think of how many hundreds of thousands of kids have the chance to come play a professional sport in their hometown. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. Um, we mentioned the men's side with USL Championship. Will there be a women's side as well?
Yes, we're gonna get the men's financially stable. We're working really hard to make sure that that happens, and then we'll bring the women in as soon as we can.
Amazing. Okay, so that's exciting to know because,
Yeah.
I mean, it's for both on both sides, right? I mean, the males
Yeah.
can look up for their side, and then as well as the women's. I know the women's game is still pretty early, especially in investment opportunities, as well as it is rising, it's growing, and And to be frank, but the U.S. women's national team does do better than the men's. So it's, but
They're so fun to watch. They're so fantastic. So the whole game in America is still building. So we're going
yeah,
to do our part to build both sides of it.
very nice. Good to know.
Yeah.
Um, a quick follow up. How does that, going back to, soccer or, you know, um, a third place where people can gather, right? Besides home and work, a community asset like soccer. So how does that philosophy change the way you think about stadium design, match day experience, and year-round programming?
Yeah, let's start with the year-round programming. So this stadium literally is being built for our entire community, not just soccer fans. So what we want this stadium to be is a place where people come for concerts, for festivals, for graduations. Kareem, in the state of Nevada, the high school football players, we go back and forth between the South and the North when they make it to the championship, right? So one year they'll play in the North, the championship games, and they'll play at a local high school. Then they go to the South the following year and they play in Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play. So like it's just so offset. I mean, it's almost embarrassing. So now we will have this beautiful stadium where we can host things like championship football games. And those kids will be excited and proud to get to play in their home stadium in Northern Nevada. So that's the type of feel that we're trying to generate with this. We think a lot about corporate partners, for instance. We want them to be excited to come into our family and to see their name displayed on our stadium because it is going to be just such a fantastic location for locals and tourists to come. We want them to be proud of their partnership with us. And that's so, when you talk about what do you think about when you're building the stadium and the entertainment district, those are the type of things that we think a lot about and that we talk a lot about. How do we make sure that everyone feels welcome and that this is such a fantastic experience? Whether you're watching a soccer game or you're coming to a concert. So we've looked at a lot of different stadiums. We've kind of cherry picked what we think is the best from each one of them, and we're building a fantastic facility for Northern Nevada, really for so many things. I mean, we have a convention space where people can have their weddings and their quinceañeras. I mean, we're just hoping that people think about this stadium as their place and they can come and do almost, whatever event they want to do. And it's, a lot of people look at a stadium, some of the bigger ones in the country, and they're like, well, that's for, the people that can afford to go to a game there. That's, as a kid, like, oh, maybe I'll never go into that stadium. Our philosophy is completely different. We want, we'll probably have movie nights for kids just so that everyone gets the chance to walk through those gates. That's what we're building here.
Very nice. Yeah, that experience can change again access.
Yeah.
That experience can
Yeah.
change everything for, the young people and, families, walking through those doors to come into the stadium and experience it. And then that potentially can turn a person that's a football person or, NFL, MLB, NHL, whatever their sport is, into potentially a soccer fan, right? A USL fan.
Right.
So those experiences can have big impacts on people. I know for myself, growing up in Canada, we have the BMO field, the BMO stadium. And I remember going there for the first time, having that experience, right? That was amazing here in our backyard. And then going across the pond over to Europe, that was a totally different experience. And then now traveling across the US and, experiencing stadiums, having went to one game with you again back in Spokane, Washington, which was an amazing stadium. But having experiences across USL one or championship is a totally different experience, and it's very nice. Um, yeah, no, Spokane is up there. Rhode Island, I've been to Rhode Island. It was a very nice stadium. Louisville as well. And just the energy in these stadiums, it just gives life to the community, right? And it's such a beautiful thing to see people gather to support their home team, right? And
I think it's inspirational.
yeah,
I
yeah,
really do. It's absolutely inspirational to the next generation. So the fact that we get to do this as owners of a USL team, it is such a blessing and a gift.
100%. I mean, you see the families together, you see the bomb
Yep.
smokes, people. celebrating, having fun, having a good time, getting some drinks, some food. It's a good time. It is truly a
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah.
To, I want to ask you, this is a big question. Why Reno
Okay.
and why now, right? So Reno is not traditionally viewed as a soccer market, and Nevada is still closely associated with gaming. What convinced you this was the right market and the right moment for USL Championship Soccer to come to your
Yeah,
market?
absolutely. Yeah. No, that's a really good question. We had USL here prior in, I think, 2019. The team 1868 came and they were very successful. They played in our Aces baseball stadium. The games were fun. They were, what you would expect from a soccer game. COVID had a lot to do with why that team folded. But what we have done, Kareem, is gone out. We've had about 7 or 8 listening sessions in front of probably 500 community members. And we asked them, we're like, hey, we're bringing professional soccer. What do you think? And the community has rallied around this idea with such passion and such hope. And one of the things that really resonates with all of us who are trying to make this happen is in almost every listening session, people would say, "Hey, we're so excited for you to come here, but please stay." So to me, it's just like, oh my gosh, I feel like our community was so sad and let down when the prior team left. I mean, they loved it. So
Yeah.
the fact that we feel that passion from people, even all these years later, we do feel that Reno will be a great soccer community. And I think right now the number is about 11,000 kids play soccer in our community. We have great youth academies. And it's something that, the population growth here in our area, huge waves of people move into Northern Nevada every year. We're one of the fastest growing communities in the country. And they come from other communities where they do have soccer. So I think the population is obviously larger, but the culture is different. And people are looking for things to do. That 20 something year old person, gets off work and they want to go be social. They want to go do something, and we will be that something. So I'm excited to launch it. I'm excited to finally give our community something that they can rally around. One of the TV stations here did a survey and they said the question was, do you think the new soccer stadium is actually going to be built? And 64% said no. And I
Right.
think that shows you that Reno gets promised a lot of really cool things, and developers from the outside come into Reno and see the market, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna do all these great plans, and we're gonna bring this, and we're gonna bring that," and then often it doesn't happen. So, the difference with us is that we are rooted here, we're locals doing this project, and we wanna see it for our community too. Like, we wanna actually take our kids and someday our grandkids to a game in this stadium. So the fact that 64% don't believe the stadium's going to be built is just a constant reminder to me that we are going to overcome some of those outside developers who actually didn't deliver, and we're going to make sure that this happens because Reno deserves it. Northern Nevada deserves it. One of the main reasons, Kareem, that I did this in the first place is you, I was watching the news and night after night they talked about Vegas, and Vegas was getting everything. Vegas is the entertainment capital of the world, but I think years ago they put out a strategy to become the sports capital of the world. And they're doing a fantastic job of that. Like, kudos to them. They have, that was back in the day when they were trying to attract the Raiders. So the NFL, the WNBA was coming. Then there was talk, and the NBA, and then Major League Baseball. And I thought, what is going on in the North? Like, how come nobody is doing anything up here? We haven't had something new since the Aces Stadium went in 2008. So I literally looked in the mirror and said, well, Wendy, why don't you try? Why don't you do it? What's wrong with you? And so I thought, well, I'm just going to pick up the phone and start calling everyone I know. Literally, that is the foundation of this entire project is me just picking up the phone and talking to people and getting people to show interest, and then finally to put money where their mouth is, and for the community to say, yep, we're going to show up for you and we're going to show up for this project. And so that's really how it all started.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So one of the big takeaways is being local to market, right? There's a different type of um passion and um I'm trying to think of the right word to say here, but there's more of a accountability and responsibility in regards to, we're working on doing this, but we really have to make sure that make this happen because we're here, we're on the ground versus outside developers trying to come in and say, hey, we're doing this, that, and the third. And if it doesn't work out, okay, they can just go because they're not local. There's no accountability or responsibility per se that they have to respond to. They could just leave versus with the project that you guys are working on and the people that are involved are local into the market, right? So in my perspective, I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong. But the other thing too is that there's a different type of intention and passion and connection to the market because there has been a lot of time spent there and more roots connected and family and relationships, so on and so forth. So I know local ownership is a key formula to the success of these expansions.
I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree. And like you said, these outside developers can come into a community and if it doesn't work, they just go home, and no one even knows where their home is. No one even really knows them. People see me at the grocery store. They're running into me at 5 a.m. at the gym every morning. So I can't hide. And so to your point, this is me really putting myself out there and putting my reputation out there and putting my family's reputation out there. And same with my entire ownership group. We are all doing that. And you only do that for something that you truly believe in and something that you want to see happen in your community and that you truly believe you can get done. And I was actually really nervous to go public with this, a couple years ago because I thought, oh my gosh, if I can't get the funding to actually make this happen, I'm going to be the one that lets down my community. And so I was terrified when the first news reporter called me and I thought, oh my gosh, now the community's going to know that we're doing this. And now I really have to do it. And so once again, Kareem, I just started picking up the phone and calling everyone I know. I'm like, okay, this is, we've always been doing it, but now we're really doing it because I can't let my community down. I can't and I won't.
Percent. Um, and it's again it provides that little bit of pressure, right? Behind, like on your back, right? Like, all right, I can't just relax. So, we got to be working here. We got to make sure we're pushing the ball forward, making the calls, connecting with the right people to make this happen. So, it could be good pressure for sure. Um,
Yeah, it is. Pressure's a great word for it. And work every single day. Every single day we're working on this project.
and then, yeah, I mean, it's another thing too. I mean, when you have the expectations of the public. I mean, you mentioned the stat of what the public thinks, but to know that there's a percentage that this is supportive and wants to see this come to life, and then there's the other part where you have to again prove yourself and really make it happen, and then that 60% will then shift over, and I mean they can't say anything after it comes to life. But with saying that, um, I had a quick question, just coming back on the stadium side. I haven't been to Nevada yet, but I'm assuming it's extremely hot. Um, so I mean, in regards to into the stadiums, obviously, weather will be a big consideration for you guys. Could you share some thoughts on that?
It's interesting here in Northern Nevada, we do have 4 seasons. We haven't really had 4 seasons this winter. We've had very little snow, although I hear it's coming. Um, so during the summertime, we do get warm. I mean, we'll have like 105, 104, for maybe a day or two, and then it drops to like the 90s. So it's a concern, but it's a concern for all of us, at this in this region and in this type of climate. Uh, a bigger issue for us, honestly, are the wildfires. So, as everybody knows, the wildfires on the west are really an issue, and so obviously they happen during summertime, and we think about that. A lot of our high school sports get canceled because of air quality. So I don't know what professional soccer standards are or USL standards are when it comes to shutting games down because of air quality, but that could be a concern for us. But again, there's so many teams now on the West Coast. We're all going to be dealing with the same thing. Snow, I'm not too concerned about. We do get snow every year, but we can manage that. And the heat is just a part of the game. I mean, these are professional athletes. They're gonna be out there no matter what the weather, and we will be there to support them. So, you gotta come out to Reno. It's a fantastic city. It's a fantastic region. It's beautiful. We're 20 minutes from gorgeous Lake Tahoe, so you're welcome anytime.
Thank you. I will 100%.
Good,
Um,
good.
Switching gears, Wendy, you didn't come up, through the front office or federation and sport or soccer. Your background includes broadcast journalism, healthcare leadership, and again, excuse my pronunciation on this word is extremely hard. I tried to use Google Translator to to pronounce it for me, but philanthropy. Oh my god,
Philanthropy. You got
philanthropy.
it. You got it. You
My
got it.
tongue is not letting
Philanthropy.
it come out. I don't know why. What experiences from that journey best prepared you to lead professional sport? To lead this project.
Right. I think so for 21 years I was the main anchor here in Reno, and I I took that position, and I still do to this day, very seriously, because I told the stories of the people who live here. I told the stories of the companies, the stories of the successes and the failures and the floods and the storms and the you name it. So I think becoming a professional storyteller is really important for my current position. I mean, we are telling our story every single day. And I'm incredibly proud to have an Emmy Award for storytelling. And so I take that skill and now I'm just applying it into letting the community know that we are here really soon. We'll be telling the story of our soccer team and of our when we unveil the colors and the crest and the name, which still we still don't know what that's going to be, but we get to tell that story pretty soon. And I'm already writing the details of it, and I am really enjoying that aspect. Healthcare, I'm all about a healthy lifestyle. So when I worked for Renown Health, which is the largest nonprofit health provider in Northern Nevada, I had the opportunity to a run health programs because the goal of my particular department was to keep people out of the hospital. So we wanted to create programs that made them healthier. So that was fantastic, and I realized what really how hard it is to shift somebody's habits to a healthier lifestyle. So I think that will help me in this. And then I ran the Renown Health Foundation and was able to raise millions of dollars for great causes with Renown. So philanthropy obviously will be a huge part of what we're doing. And then I ran the private foundation for Martis Camp, which is a private community up in Truckee, California. And we were raising millions of dollars for that local community. So I know how to raise money, which is obviously vitally important for what we're doing with this. But I just think, honestly, I'm not a traditional sports owner, but I think my path, I can take so many of my skills that I've learned from every career that I've had and apply them to being a professional owner in a really unique way. So I come at it with three or four different lenses than just the sports lens. And also, I mean, being an athlete, we're competitive people. We don't like to lose. We look for any different way to move and shift. Or, for me, swimming, like the way you put your hand in the water, it matters. Like this make a split second difference over that. And so just those little tiny details are the things that we focus on to move forward and to make a really successful project. So yeah, it's definitely unique. I have to give you that. But I think I have a really good view from all the different angles.
Very nice. Yeah, no. Storytelling is a massive piece, and it's continuously ongoing. Um, I was a swimmer too, actually. I got my
You are
lifeguard license. Yeah, I was pretty big in swimming too. Soccer was the
nice.
main, but
Yep.
swimming was another activity that my mom put me in. But yeah, I love swimming. Um,
Yeah, it's good.
what would you say are some assumptions that you had to unlearn once you stepped into ownership?
So my entire life has been about timing. As an athlete, it was about timing. As a newscaster, it was about timing. I mean, everything was to the second. So I'm big on timelines, and I have now had to realize that timing doesn't matter in this world. Deadlines don't necessarily matter in this world. Everything has taken much longer than we anticipate. Yeah, the community really has said, Wendy, oh my gosh, I can't believe you pulled this together so quickly. I have to remind people it's been 5 years
Mm.
that I've been working on this. So it has been a very, very long time, and I thought we would be playing for sure by now, and we are not. So, for somebody who is so used to literally every second matters and hearing 3, 2, 1 in her ear for 21 years and knowing that you're live and then 3, 2, 1 and cut, you're done for the day. My life is completely different from that now. So
Mm.
timelines are much longer and much different than what I'm used to.
They're a bit quicker before, and now it's a bit.
Yeah. Definitely a lot longer nowadays.
When we talked before this podcast, you initially modeled Reno Pro Soccer as a League One project before making the jump to USL Championship. Walk us through the decision-making process behind that move, please.
Sure, absolutely. When I got involved with USL, um, League One made complete sense because they really looked at it like market size. So Reno is a mid-size market. If you look at it, I look at it like TV markets, so New York, San Francisco, the big markets, that's where the championship teams went. League One was for the mid-size markets. So we were like, oh my gosh, that's a perfect fit. Yes, we'll go down that road. The finances made sense. So we were happy with it. And then God just has a plan. I'm telling you, Kareem. So I told USL originally, I said, I am going to do a team, period. Like I can raise the money for a team and that'll be that. And they're like, okay, that's great. And then a year went by and they're like, hey, Wendy, pretty much we're requiring stadiums now for all the owners. And I'm like, what? How much does a stadium cost? They're like, I don't know. You could probably build over 25 million. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, fine. So we went that. And then I met my principal investor, Todd Davis, and he came down. We're driving around Reno trying to get it done. And he said, you know what, Wendy, let's just go buy land. Let's just really put our stake in the ground for this project. We are absolutely doing it. Let's go buy our own land. It took us 9 months, Kareem, to find land in Northern Nevada. When you fly over our community, it looks like there's a ton of land, but it's all BLM. So there's no private land left to buy. So 9 months later, he comes to me and he says, "Hey, I think we're gonna buy this old car dealership." I'm like, "What? You're crazy. We're not buying that car dealership." He goes, "No, no, no, I think it'll work." And then he said, "And next to it is a strip mall that I think we should buy too." So we end up doing that. And honestly, once we got that land and we said, okay, we can now do really what we always wanted to do, which was build an entertainment district around the stadium. Because as every owner who is going to listen to this will agree with me, it's really hard to make the stadium and the team work by themselves. Financially, it's just a struggle. So, what everyone is trying to do is get land around your stadium so that you can use that, as an entire project and make it much more financially stable. So now when we have just under 30 acres, we're able to do that. So we're now building a $350 million development. Remember back in the day, I was going to do League One, right? And now we're doing a $350 million development. So we decided that if we're bringing that caliber of a development to town, we should bring the highest level of soccer to town. And so we decided to go with championship, which it's an easier conversation to have with our community because championship existed here before. So we didn't
Mm.
want our community to think that we were bringing, League One in when they were used to cheering for a championship team. So for Reno, it made sense. For our project, it made a whole lot of sense. And now with promotion relegation, we can't wait. I'm so excited to see how that's going to unfold in 2028. And we hope to be in the Premier League as soon as possible.
Very nice. Pro rel is a big topic in itself, and definitely a lot of detail that's going into that to bring that to life. Um, I wanted to ask you a question. Pro rel really threw me off just there. Okay, I
Oh,
want you.
sorry.
I no worries. I wanted to ask you about project, the development that you guys are working on, right? Mixed
Yeah.
use development. Um, is the city participating? Do you guys have the city on side for your project?
We do. So we are about to create our we're not about to start. We are about to finish with our entire package, our conditional use permit package that we will turn into the city. And we have met with every city council member. We've met with the mayor. Everyone is incredibly supportive of this project. So we anticipate everything being improved and getting the property completely entitled in the next couple of months. So the city is really supportive of this. Back 5 years ago, one of the first things I did, Kareem, is I pulled all key stakeholders in Northern Nevada together into a room. So that included the city of Reno, the city of Sparks, Washoe County. We have a commission with the county. The University of Nevada, is in Reno. So I got representatives from them, our RSCVA, which is the Convention and Visitors Authority, as well as EDON, which is our Economic Development Authority. I got everybody in one room and I explained, hey, here's the idea. Here's what we want to bring to town. Do you think this will work and will you be supportive? And every single person raised their hand that yes, they do think it'll work and they will do whatever they can to help make this happen in our community. So that was really important to see that key stakeholders believe in this project even back then, and they have continued to be supportive ever since. So I meet with all those guys all the time. I think they're just ready for this thing to be built, so I'll stop calling.
Nice.
That would be my
Um,
guess.
yeah. So I got you on the phone calls. I got you. Fingers crossed for you on my side. Hopefully soon as well. I know you guys are working away on it.
Yeah.
And it's a tall task, right? This is not something easy. Um, if you'd like to share, I'm interested to know. If not, that's fine. I'm interested to know, like, so for example, with like leaders that you have been dealing with, or sorry, I should say, stakeholders that you have been dealing with for the last 5 years plus. Sometimes leadership roles change, right? Leaders that are in these
Yeah.
positions. Has that been the case for you? Can you share a little bit more on the story? You got their initial interest in the beginning. Has there had to be, continuous reassurance that, hey, this is going to be big. This is going to be great for the city, the community. Or has it just been smooth sailing per se?
Smooth
If
sailing
you'd like to
doesn't
share.
exist.
If you'd like to share, though, only if you'd like to share.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We have had some people move on and new people come in, but everyone has been willing to sit down with us. Everyone is really excited to hear what we're doing. We do have elections, obviously, coming up in November, so we want to make sure that we can get the vote before the elections, so that we're not starting maybe with a whole new. I mean, we will definitely have a new mayor because she is terming out. Um, and we'll have new city council people potentially, so we'd like to get all of our stuff done before the election season happens. And I'm trying to think, like I said, we've had some turnover in some key positions, but the new people who have come in, thankfully, have been just as supportive. So, I mean, from literally from the state down to the city council to our economic authorities. I mean, everyone is keeping a close eye on this, I will say, and cheering us on. So, even with the turnover and the new people coming into some key positions, it's still been really positive.
Amazing. And then in regards to like the scale of the project, right? From an investor standpoint, sometimes the saying is, "Hey, the bigger the project, the better, the easier it is to raise the capital for it." Um, so is like the number that you guys are working with, um, is it is this something that's can this project get even bigger, or is it just going to be where it's at? And can you share a little bit more details, if you can, in regards to what are some of the hard assets that are going to be a part of this?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think investors are really interested in the scale of it. Um, so when you talk about, fundraising for just a team that has its own challenges, then when you say a team in a stadium that actually has its additional challenges. When you say entertainment district, suddenly people are perking up. Everybody wants to invest in the entertainment district, right? They believe in that model. It makes sense. The team in the stadium are actually the harder aspects of it, but what we're finding is within our structure, investors will come into a holding company and they will own all of it. They'll own land in Reno, which is very hard to do, as I said earlier. They'll own a professional soccer team. They will own a beautiful 6,000 seat stadium. They'll own an entertainment district. So it's really attractive to the people that we're talking to right now because of the wide breadth underneath that holding company. It's not just a team in a stadium. There's so many different aspects to what we're building. And actually it's in two phases. The first phase will be the stadium, the team, and the entertainment district. The entertainment district will be bars, restaurants, shops, a couple of hotels. We have some pretty exciting things with the stadium that I'm not ready to release, but I will certainly let you know as soon as we can talk about that. It's really going to be exciting and cool and different, and I think attractive to our investors. And then the second phase is the parcel next to us to the south. We'll be looking at that, well down the road, but it'll be great to get this up and established and thriving. And then, our investors will know that, oh, down the road, we have another opportunity. And the reason it's down the road is we have some long-term leases. So we're going to let that play out and then we'll decide what we want to do with it. But there's more opportunity than what's right in front of us. So that's exciting for people. I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
We're a long-term investment. We're looking for only good people that we want to work with. All of us are a little bit older in our lives. We're not jumping after the first dollar. In fact, we've turned money down because we want only good people that have, the same view on life, the same morals and values that we have. And we're building something incredibly special that is attractive. And so we can, just say, hey, we gotta meet you as a person first. That's really important to all of us. So long term good investment here in Reno.
Absolutely. Um, wow. I mean, the questions just keep leaving my mind. I don't know why. But okay. So I wanted to ask you a quick follow up on investors coming in. Are you guys strict on, hey, these are the assets. This is like the minimum investment amount. Or have you ever had an investor say, hey, I'm only interested in land and retail, for example? Are you guys strict with what they're getting, or are you guys flexible in regards to what the investor can select and what they want to invest in?
No, it's all. It's everyone comes in, with everything, which is actually more attractive.
Mm,
If so say people just wanted to invest in the team and then the stadium suddenly is doing incredibly well or vice versa. You don't want your investors to feel like, "Oh, well, how come they're doing better with their investment than I'm doing?" Everyone will be in, the entire development, which I think is the best way to
yeah,
go, quite honestly. I want everyone to feel like they own a huge piece of Reno. I think I want people to feel like they have, they are a part of building a legacy for their own families in the heart of Reno. So that's important. And the legacy is all of it. It's every single thing that we're doing here.
yeah, 100%. Okay, so Wendy, you are one of the very few women in a CEO level ownership role in USL. How does that make you feel walking in the room of USL?
Yeah, I'm super proud of myself. I did look around the room and I was like, "Oh, there's a lot of men in this room." I'm so incredibly thankful for Katie Harnato with Spokane teams up there. She and I have become fast friends, probably because we were the only two women there when I first met her a couple years ago. But more for me, like more than just saying, "Oh, I'm a woman," and I'm hanging my hat on the fact that, "Oh, I'm a woman," in this position. I want to hang my hat on being a good person, being a great leader, making fantastic decisions, being inspirational. The fact that I am a woman I think it's pretty cool. I think it's fun to talk about, but I care much more deeply about who I am as a person and what I can do for my ownership group, for my community, for my team that we're building. I think it's great to be an inspiration to the next generation. I Justin Rechtenwald from USL. He and I did a class for University of Missouri, and it was really great to teach this class about, what it takes to own and run and build a professional sports team. And following the class session, a lot of the kids reached out to me on LinkedIn, and several of them were young women. And so we're now following each other on LinkedIn. And I just think it's really cool that maybe there are some young women that look up to me, because I'm in this position. But I think there's also some young men that look up to me in this position, because I think owning a professional soccer team, owning a professional sports team, being a CEO of any company it's what a lot of people strive for. And I want to be the example of a good person, a good leader, and like I said before, the fact I'm a woman, that's great. But I care greatly about the other things. So I love seeing how women have grown over the course of time. When I was growing up, my mom went to go sign my brother and I up for CYO basketball. And so she put my brother on his team, and then she went to go put me on the girls' team, and there wasn't one. So I played on the boys' team. I played with Brent Barry for all those basketball fans out there. I grew up with him and loved it. But he and I were super competitive, right? So like they didn't treat me like a girl. And so I think maybe growing up, being forced to play with the boys kind of took away that I'm a girlness, because I didn't see myself that way. I saw myself as an athlete competing against boys and beating them in certain circumstances. And then, I go back to my hometown now, and I have friends whose children go to that Catholic school, and the girls are playing on a girls' team. So again, an evolution. And then I was the president of PAC Pause, which is the women's booster club at the University of Nevada, like 10, 15 years ago. And that was when the National Girls and Women in Sports Day was, just kind of evolving and becoming a real thing. And we were trying to, build up support and have people show up for it and understand how important it is for girls to participate in sports. And I was a speaker at it this year. And so I walked into a room of hundreds of people. And I thought, this is so fantastic to see the evolution of girls and women in sports. And if I can be, one small part of that, to go from an athlete to an owner of a professional team, and if I can inspire the next generation, I'm all in. That's who I want to be as a person, and it's exciting. I do think that things have grown exponentially for women in sports, and I'm just happy to be a part of it, Kareem. I'm just so happy to be a part of it.
Very nice, Wendy. You're an inspiration to myself. I want to one day own a club as well. So
Great.
you're paving, you're shining the light for me. I
Nice.
also really value our working relationship, and so happy that we connected in person. Um, and really value your time that you took out to be on the podcast and share the project that you guys are working on. And I look forward to continue learning from you. Um, and then again, once it's all over, once it's done, sitting in the booth, snacking on some food, a few drinks,
Yep.
watch the game with you and your team. So looking forward to it. And then you know what? I'll plant this seed. And then as we get further along, and hopefully, fingers crossed, one day we launch our project wherever it's going to be, whatever
Yep.
market, inviting you to our stadium.
Yes, I'm in. I am so in on that plan. Yes. And I will be cheering you along the entire way. Always open to anything you need.
Thank you so much. You frequently talk about family, health, and community. Where do those values show up operationally, and how you are building this club?
I think that I'm building a larger family with the ownership group. We're all very close. John Doyle, who is, a superstar in the soccer world, he played in the World Cup. He's an Olympian. Played in Europe. Ran the Earthquakes. He's just a phenomenal human being, and he will tell you if you ask him. He came to Reno to do this job because of the family that we're building. He wanted to be a part of building a legacy for himself, which we completely support, but also because we're the right people. We're good people up here. We believe in family first. And so he and his wife, Karen, have officially moved to Reno a couple months ago. We're thrilled to have them, and we were healthy people anyway. And we literally, like, one of the first, I think the thing that really got John is we're in the office one day and we're just pounding away working so hard, and I was like, hey John, come on, we got to talk. I got to go over some stuff with you. It's going to take like an hour. And I said, let's go, tell Karin to meet us at this street, because on that street was a trailhead, and we did the rest of our day's meetings out on dirt, walking up a mountain. And so we're practicing what we preach for sure. And community, like I've said earlier in this interview, I mean, we're doing this 100% for the community. That was the whole reason behind me even getting introduced to the USL, is because I wanted to do something cool that had to do with sports for my community. And so those three things, family, health, and community, they truly are like the pillars of what we're building here.
Very nice. And then my last question, Wendy, is for someone listening who wants to own or help a professional soccer club one day, what is the hardest lesson you've learned that no conference panel prepares you for?
2 a.m. I will tell you, 2 a.m. comes every night for me. And it's a hard moment because that's when your little voice, like, sometimes tells you to run, sometimes tells you to jump, sometimes tells you you're not good enough. That 2 a.m. voice, I have to kind of quiet and then have a conversation with it and just say, hey, we're doing this. Like, I have faith, I have a team, I have a community that is depending on me. I think that, we all wake up, all of us owners wake up in the middle of the night with some fears. And we have to learn to deal with them. We have to talk ourselves out of sometimes the things that they're saying. And so I think that's a tough one for me, that 2 a.m. wake up call, which literally comes every night. I can't wait to finally sleep through a night. I think it'll be a blessing. And the other thing that, it's not really advice, but when I was early on in this project, I had two prominent people tell me, soccer will never work, Wendy, do not do this. And I use that as fuel for my fire. I cannot wait to prove them wrong. And I just, the naysayers, they can get to you. And I think anyone who wants to own a professional team or start any company of any sort, you're going to have those naysayers. And I think those, instead of, letting them bring you down, I'm using them to prop me up and literally fuel my fire, because we're going to make this happen for Reno, Nevada.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. So to dive in for some rapid fire bonus round questions,
Woo.
we just got 5, and we'll
Okay.
we'll try to go through them as fast as possible. So one
Okay.
metric you care about more than attendance.
Winning.
The biggest misconception about USL Championship ownership.
That it's easy for us.
The best advice you've received from outside of soccer.
Don't do soccer. Because again, it's my
Once
fuel. It's my fuel, Kareem.
one city that quietly gets professional soccer right.
Portland, Maine.
One thing you refuse to compromise on as an owner.
I will not compromise on drug use, being a bad person in the community. We are all going to be like the greatest role models this town has ever seen, and I will not compromise on that. And we're going to do it with our own personal healthy lifestyles and doing the right thing always. Did we
Wendy,
do it? Was that
we
it?
did it. We got through the 5. That
That's
was quick. You were good. That was good.
awesome.
Okay, so Wendy, for anyone listening in, where can they connect with you?
Oh my gosh, they connect with me, Wendy Damonte, on LinkedIn. I would love to hear from anybody. Email wendy@renoprosoccer.com, or you can always go to our website at renoprosoccer.com and connect that way. We would love to continue conversations.
And I'll make sure to put Wendy's information down in the description below for you guys to easily access it and contact Wendy. With saying that, Wendy, thank you for sharing the vision and discipline behind Reno Pro Soccer. For everyone listening in, subscribe to the One Soccer Nation podcast for more conversations with people building the future of the game. Connect with Wendy, follow One Soccer Nation, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.